Okay, so looking at Swiss yen here, we do see a bit of a reversal happening as of this month. It was very, very bullish. I mean, it's still technically super, super bullish, way above this moving average, but did break below this area here and then retested and created this upper liquidity area right here on the daily even. So, and then you had this huge bearish engulfing candle, a little bit of a pullback, and now down again. So the full monthly range for this is about 600 pips, and it is kind of, there's only 4 days left, including today, of the month. But I mean, if this starts moving, it really could hit this 160, 160.2 zone down here. There's an area that it might resist right here. But then, yeah, if it breaks this, it's going to keep going. And I do think that we might have found the high for Swiss yen. If you go on these higher time frames, you can see this month, depending on how this closes, if it closes below this zone, I mean, that's a bearish engulfing month. And, we haven't had one of those in a long time. So you go down to the weekly, you can see a huge area of, rejection liquidity up here. So, it had many weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4. It had this week, really, this week right here. So 4 or 5 weeks to, really break above this zone and hold, but couldn't do it. So kind of every time it was in this zone right here, this is where it started. You got this big bearish engulfing candle, pulled up, didn't make a new high, and then, eventually broke this area here and created new lows. So lower lows, lower highs, that tells me we got bear structure here. Broke below this 4-hour moving average and was quite above it for a long time. So again, it's much more clear now in the 4-hour time frame, but again, lower lows, lower highs. You can see here, here, and now here. So yeah, definitely, structure's changing way below the 1-hour moving average. So I'd be looking to sell this now, to be honest, at least into this 160 zone. Who knows if it'll break this area, but I definitely think it's headed to it. I think it'll take out this zone too. There's just a lot of momentum here. And if it needs to grab liquidity, it might come back up to this zone or this zone. Basically, this was the previous high liquidity area, and then once it pulled down, it created a new one down here. So anytime price creates a lower liquidity area above the previous high one, I mean, that's a good sign too that the bears are taking over. So yeah, and you can see as of today, nice. It's hard to see because that thing's in the way, but we can delete this actually. So yeah, lots of bear movement to the downside here. So as far as an entry goes, I mean, I would be the first, and this might be, depending on how much this moves this week, I do think it'll take out this zone this week, but you might be looking for a break and retest of this zone. So once price breaks below this zone, need to go with something like this, and it might be this week even. So something like this, and then retest, reject this area here, and then head back down to and shoot for this 160.2 area. That's the monthly range. As far as zones go, I mean, this is a huge zone. I think might be able to shrink it a little bit down to here, catch these wicks as well. So I mean, as far as like a target, I think this would be a pretty adequate one, pretty realistic one would be this area here, this zone. Overall, as long as the bear structure continues, again, lower lows, lower highs, all that. Yeah, and just keep heading down. But obviously, it needs to break this zone. We need a retest some kind. We need to make sure step 1 is to break this area, and then step 2 is to reject it again. Because I don't want to break this area and then have this pull up to find liquidity back in this area. That would destroy the trade. So, basically we need this to break, retest with a couple candles, couple wicks, and just say, yeah, no, we're not going higher, we want to go lower. And then, yeah, this would be your trade setup. And then you would need price to create a little safety net. And what I mean by that is a liquidity area. Let's see. Right now, this is the one we're targeting. We need it to create a new one just above it so that we can have our stops just above both of them and be good to go. Or it might create a new one in this zone, and then we'd be good to go. We could actually, at that time, we would remove this zone, mark up the new one, keep our stop above that, and then be good to go. And then target our area. So the first first area of interest is this zone here on the daily, right around 159.50. Could actually put a little line in here, say 159.5, 159.5, and that's just our first, take profit that we kind of have in mind. And then obviously, into next month, again, we have 600 pips of range for the month. So if we decide that like this is the high for next month, 150, 156 could be, the next monthly range, which would actually add up. You can see, where price respected it before and then broke. It's most likely to come back down here. This 155, 156 area, this might be our next monthly low. So if 162 is our high, then roughly 156, 600 pip range for the month would be our monthly low. Something like this up to November here would be something like this, would be our next month's trade, depending on how this sets up for the, if this breaks this area, retests, and just kind of slows down for the rest of the month. This would be our trade for next month, would be rejecting this area, targeting all the way down here, obviously keeping in mind this area first, having to break, and then targeting this next one. By then this moving average will be pretty close to it, and you'll be ultimately rejecting that moving average to but if it breaks that moving average, then we're bearish. So I do think that this is has huge potential to make good profits. Great risk to reward here. You're looking at like a 6 as of right now if you're targeting for the full month, and depending on where this lines up, can cinch it as necessary. But that would be our play for next month. Most likely, you can see it's, as of today, it's heading in the right direction. So I think just having patience and waiting for this to really set up for next month. No rush, to get in anything at the, this week. Right, it's already Tuesday, so I mean, even if this set up today, you're going into the weekend, you don't really want to hold any trades, I don't think. Well, depending on what type of trader you are, your brokerage and stuff. But this is my big monthly setup I'd like to keep in mind for next month, and just take the maximum opportunity out of it. So that is my take on Swiss yen. Entering next month, short, big short, first take profit, second take profit down here, getting in and out of the trades, kind of intraday trading, but just understanding the full monthly setup, the full monthly range, 600 pips. If I can grab, the full 600, great. If I can grab 50 to 100 a day, a few days of the few days of the month, that's good too. So that is my projection for Swiss yen. I'll see you guys in the next one.